welcome back to Social Life in Peel. Now, we've gone through so many different things on these segments. We've had workouts, we've had food people, we've had everything. But for the first time, we actually have a wildlife photographer who's going to be joining us here today. And he's going to share with us some of his crazy stories that he's found in the wildlife. Jon Triffo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm really delighted to be here.
Oh, well, we're excited to have you here.
Oh,
so
thanks.
tell us a little bit about yourself, Jon.
I've been photographing nature and wildlife pretty much for 30 years, maybe more. I've been a naturalist ever since I can remember. And I go out and discover and explore. And really that's the story of my life right there. I just go out and find things and take a lot of pictures too.
So let's talk about the Perigrine Falcon for a minute, because you have a special connection with that animal, correct?
Yes, I do. In 1986, I was invited to oversee the release of young peregrine falcons off of buildings in Regina, Saskatchewan. And this is a bird I dreamed about, read about ever since childhood. And I thought maybe my entire life I'll never really get to know this bird too well, because it's a remote wilderness species. And the chance of me being able to study these animals in remote wilderness areas, it just wasn't very likely I'd ever be able to do that in my life. All of a sudden they were in my hometown, and I was a raptor aficionado for many, many years, and I was invited to take care of these young birds off the building. So I ended up being with the project for 6 years officially as a paid volunteer. And then for several years after that, during the recovery, we had peregrine falcons coming into the city and nesting on their own. So there was a lot of opportunity to get involved with them as well. I'd like to mention, in the year I was born, a really cool guy named Mr. Hall wrote a book and published it. And it was about peregrine falcons nesting on buildings. He was, in fact, the world's first urban peregrine falcon photographer. And this is I don't know if you can see this. Oh, there we are. It's beautiful. This is the cover of the book he wrote. Wow. It's called Great Moments in Action. It's really amazing. This guy was on top of a building in Montreal where the first peregrine falcons started nesting. And this happened back in the 1930s. And in 1949, he noticed a female peregrine falcon, one that he was watching, eat her own egg. And it was a big curiosity. And that was way back when people had no idea what was happening to the environment with chemicals invading the food chain. This guy made an observation that eventually rippled across the entire globe. And big, big changes happened because of that. And I'd like to show you, if I can. I brought a peregrine falcon egg
Right,
with me.
It's hatched or not hatched?
This is a bird that, an egg that never hatched. It is an eggshell from a captive breeding program. And so what we had were peregrine falcons laying eggs, kind of like in a chicken coop. And some of the eggs would hatch. Most of the eggs, almost all the eggs would hatch, but some of them wouldn't. This is one egg that did not hatch.
So what does that mean if it did not hatch? It was just...
Well, this is very normal. This is not a contaminated egg in any respect. In some places in the world, to handle a peregrine falcon egg, you need really to wear rubber gloves and to protect yourself. They are incredibly toxic. In some places in the world, in the wild, these eggs will not hatch. They will get eaten by their adult parents. They will simply crush if an adult tried to incubate it. They would just simply squish flat and be a wet, gooey mess. They will not hatch at all. And for anybody to work with these in any sort of significant numbers, they would have to really protect themselves because they're just so contaminated. When we raise chicks, baby peregrine chicks in captivity, we can feed the parents fresh, clean food, no contamination at all. So this is an uncontaminated egg. It's just one of the unfortunate ones that never ever hatched, out of many that did. So, would you like to hold it? It's
Sure.
quite an experience to hold one of those.
So this one's not toxic, right?
It is not toxic
Okay.
at all. That's a clean egg. It's just an unfortunate one that never hatched.
So peregrine falcons, where are they from? Do we find them here in Peel as well?
Yes, you actually have just a short drive down the road. here in Ontario in Burnhamthorpe, there's a nest on a building.
Oh, no way.
Seriously?
They're there right now. I'm not quite sure of all the details. I'm pretty sure they have eggs right now. And that's really what I'd like to talk about most is you can go and visit these nest sites. They're all over the place. And you can take a telescope, a pair of binoculars, or generally just take your interest along with you. Pack up the kids and head to the nearest site. The way to find these sites is quite cool these days. All you do is you type in your computer in Google maybe, Perigrine, Falcon, and the name of your city or area where you live. And you'll kind of surf a little bit, and you can find out the peregrine falcons that are nesting nearest you. I mean, they're all over the world. I've watched peregrine falcons in Vancouver, Edmonton, which is amazing, Calgary, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, had a pair try to attempt nesting once. I'm from Regina, and took care of them there. Saskatoon, of course, Winnipeg.
And now we have them here.
Yeah, we have
In
lots.
Right? And with everything else you have going on, you're here for a special reason. It's the launching of his brand new book, which launches today. And real quick, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
This is a children's book, basically for schools. And it's a mini version of a very large book I'm working on regarding my work with the peregrine falcons in cities.
And what's the website where they can go to learn more?
naturenova.ca.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.